Brett, do you have a raise from Bryce Harper?
Expect nothing less from him.
Brett, what would you like to see out of your guys today that maybe you didn't see against Miami without you?
I mean, the greatest challenge I feel when you have a new team is there is not a symmetry with communication. And where communication most rears its head in a painful way is in transition defense and within our half-court switch groups. And so say you have a switch group of Ben and Tobias and Jimmy, as an example, that, you know, you really don't mind if either of those three guarding, you know, the other guy's player. As simple as I maybe just explained it, in warp time, in real time, in transition, you know, you blink and Lillard will punish that. And the same thing in half court where you can do something and, you know, pick 'em, CJ will slip that. And so the improvement, I hope, comes with a greater familiarity based on consistency, that we can talk quicker. We can communicate a little bit more effectively if we do that. And that thing is kind of global. It's far-reaching, this familiarity growth. And that's what I hope to see better than we saw against Miami.
Right, with all the new faces and all the new people, how much does like your second year when Michael Carter-Williams was traded at the deadline, you had to go from switching everything to totally changing your defense on the fly, things like that, how much do they help you when you're incorporating different guys and different skill sets into situations?
I think you can go back and remember things like that, Tom. I feel like you can go back and say, well, you know, in this situation, this is what we remember being good and bad in that. Because those days are so different than today, as far as, you know, expectation and excitement with the talented roster that we have. And so the way you explained it is kind of similar, but today is so different in my eyes. I think that it's kind of different at times all over the place because, as an example, I felt in the past we really didn't have many, if any, pick and roll type players. And now, like, you can put Tobias in a pick and roll. You know, you can put Jimmy, as we've trying to do more and more and more, to pick and roll as an example. And so the familiarity, the newness, is deeper than just the defensive communication. You know, it's all over the place. You know, as I go and I look at my depth chart, you're reminded that today you wake up and you have 5 new guys out of a 10-man rotation that you didn't have, you know, 12 days ago. Like, that's quite massive. But it's exciting. I really find it exciting more than crying about it. And so you can reflect on the past, but the present is, the weight of the present is very
Okay. The other day, Jimmy Butler, I'll paraphrase a little bit, he said, we may be too unselfish. And I asked him, I said, could that be because there's so many star level players here that you're all respectful of one another and you're trying to give each other an opportunity to score? He kind of agreed that could be an issue. Is, in an odd way, is challenged to have too many star level players, at least early, until they figure out what kind of the pecking order is, who gets the ball where and when? Does you understand what I'm saying? He thought maybe a little too unselfish because of they're all being respectful of one another, trying to get each other shots.
I think that this is true. I feel like we saw that with Jimmy when he came in all by himself and not with this new arrival of Bobans and Tobiases and Mikes. But, you know, complaining about that, I would be, yeah, right? And so I hear you, I do hear your point. I don't see that as at all a problem. I understand, like, if we just, you know, shot clocks evaporate and we don't get shots because everybody's just sharing the ball. But I think, and I said this after the game against Miami, there is an inherent, forget the coach, and forget sort of different things. I think that the players that we have inherited, the players that are here, really play the game the right way. And I don't feel the need, I think I said something about, going to get Tobias 25 shots. At times you feel the need to get Joel deep catches. But after that, I think that they do a hell of a job of playing within themselves, playing with each other, and this is a good thing.
When the last game, when Butler was at the point at the end of the game, he sort of maybe looked like he wanted to take it over at that point. Was that encouraging, the way he?
For sure,
kinda-
Jack, and I hunted matchups in that environment that you're speaking about. Like, we wanted to put certain people in a pick and roll. And I don't feel like that's the luxury that we have had very much since I've been here. Let's go beat up on so-and-so for a while. And that is NBA basketball. And I think that at a snapshot type glance, that thing that you're talking about, it is true. And I thought that we reaped the benefit of it. I thought we did it a little bit with Ben at the end of the third period, where we really tried to force feed and force Ben and play off him as well. But this notion, this thing you're talking about, with the talent we have, shoot, they really play unselfishly, that's a good thing.
What did you make of Amir's decision to seek out an opportunity to go play with Delaware last night to stay fresh?
Where do I begin? How many 13-year NBA veterans make an effort on a Friday night to drive himself down, whatever it is, an hour away, and just want to play basketball? It's unique. It's very, very rare. And I have tremendous respect for that effort, that notion, like he's even thinking like that. And think about it, like he was our backup center last year. Joel plays, Joel comes out, Amir, you go in, and we went back and forth with that. Sometimes I went with Rashawn, but by and large I went with Amir. And this year I haven't, for whatever reason. And he's been a pro. Like, he's a good human being. He's a tremendous person. And that is a snapshot of humility. That is a snapshot of somebody putting their ego and resume on a shelf because he just wanted to play basketball. I have tremendous respect for him. I thought he played well. I enjoyed sitting there watching Amir play, and I was reminded of the benefit that we have as an organization, having a feeder system 50 minutes down the road that we can really work very closely with.
Right, I know this sounds crazy to say it when you look at Damian Lillard. He's a 4-time All-Star, but he's from a smaller market, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you consider him like one of the most underrated players
I
in the
do.
league?
I completely do, Keith. I am and have been a massive fan of Damian Lillard. His ability, and he does fly under the radar, I agree with you. His ability to, and I think his defense has improved over time. His ability to score in a bunch of different ways, and his ability to just punish a game if you have a sliver of a mistake is, Steph-like. It is. He can do it with range, he can do it with speed, he can do something at the rim. I think he is one of the more underrated type of all-stars that we have in our league. I get tremendous respect for him.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
You want to stay out there?